So you've recently finished a very long and distinguished career in banking. You were one of the first bankers to get acquainted with IRC back in the day before it was even known as International Risk Consultants. How did you first get acquainted with our company?
Well, originally, this goes back into the early 1990s, it wasn't such a big organization. It was actually Johnstone Downey. There wasn't any IRC or JDL or anything like that. And we were, rather similar organizations at that point. Norwest, which was the bank that was the origin of Wells Fargo, basically had come out of a period of time where they had written off a very large international exposure portfolio of loans, like many banks in the States. And so there weren't that many commercial banks doing export finance. And IRC was a relatively new organization. They were only probably less than 2 years old when we first met. And at that point, most of the international brokers, credit insurance brokers, were based in New York. And there were only very few of them. And so we were rather similar organizations. And so when we were contacted by Rob and Jack, we were a bit surprised. We had really not known much about Johnstone Downey, and they probably knew very little about us. But we decided to get together, and so we set a time, and they said they're going to come up and visit us, which is also unusual because very few brokers visited banks in the Midwest.